welcome to the studio. As you can see, it's a little different view than you would normally have, and I think I want to do something a little bit different. I've wanted to do this for a while, and I haven't known where to start with this. And because I didn't know where to start, I haven't done anything with it, and I don't want to do that anymore. I want to jump in, and if there happens to be a good starting point as I'm editing, or if I'm doing this for a second or third or fourth video and it seems like that's the start, then I don't know what I'll do. I'll say I should have started here, but I wasn't able to. But what I want to do is kind of an artist video log for you, and I want to talk about a few things that bother me or are on my mind, and if they're on my mind, I'm sure they're on other people's minds. And what I want to start with, or what I'm going to start with, because this is the first video, is what do I say? How do I say it? What I want to start with is, I guess, what's for me self-doubt. I guess that's the way to say it. So, I don't know what today is. Today is May 15th when I'm recording this. I don't know what day this will be when I put this up, but today's May 15th. And about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and I guess I don't know what brought it on, but I was doing these paintings and I thought they were really good. If you've seen some videos, I did a bunch of frogs. I've done a vulture head that I posted to Instagram. I've done a number of paintings, and I thought they were pretty good, and I stopped and I thought about them, and I went, oh my God, are these really good? I don't know if these are what I want, or if this is what I want to do. I don't know if this is where I want to be as an artist. They're fairly tight. They're not super photorealistic, but they're certainly not loose by any stretch. And I've just come through a period where I've tried to loosen up as an artist. I've really tried. I love that style. If you watch a lot of other people on YouTube, Angela Fair has got these crazy loose paintings that are just, I don't know how she does it. She seemingly just goes whap, 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 throws a little paint on. Oh, this looks like this, and a little here and a little there, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, it's brilliant. It looks great. I don't know if it looks exactly like what you're telling me it is, but it's unbelievable. She's got a great eye for color and matching colors and whatnot. And my videos, I've been trying to work towards being like Tim Wilmot, another guy I follow on YouTube, or Andrew Geeson, and they're just much looser, and I tried it. You've seen some videos of mine from the end of last year, or the beginning of this, well, maybe not the beginning of this year. I broke my collarbone and wasn't doing much of anything, but the end of last year anyways. And I looked at my paintings and I gave it a good 2 months where I was doing a painting in that style every other day. So it's at least 30 paintings that I did, and I want to get there. I want to get there. But I don't know if I can get there. I don't know that I have it in me to get there, and so I stopped doing these frog paintings. And I was looking at them, and I went, I kind of like these. And then I started watching YouTube again, which I hadn't done for a while. And I started to go, oh my God, this was not anywhere at all where I want to be. This frog painting is a frog. How can I, how can I look at that and look at what some of these other people have done and go, I think what they've done is great, and mine is, it's what I've done. And so for the past week and a half, a good solid week, I every time I come out to the studio and I paint, I come into it with the mindset, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to do it. And I sit down to paint, and I paint what comes naturally to me. And as I'm working it, as I'm going through it, I'm thinking, this is great, this is brilliant, I love this, and look, I have my limitations, I understand. And I understand judging art is a sliding scale. We're always going to be our harshest critic, and I'm not here to say I'm a terrible artist. I'm not here to say I'm a great artist. I'm here to say I enjoy what I do, and I love it, and the fact that I'm able to make these paintings is incredible. Had I thought 10 years ago I'd have been doing this, I'd have said, no, there's no way. I don't even know that I passed art in high school or junior high school, and I didn't pick up a pencil or a brush to do anything artistic for a number of years. I guess that backstory is a different story. It's probably a different video. But I guess what I'm getting around to is doubting myself. I was looking at these, and I'm painting, and I'm trying to push, and I'm trying to do those things that I thought I needed to do to make a painting, but not copy the picture and not copy somebody else. And I feel I'm falling somewhere in between Tim Wilmot or whoever and photorealism. And I was looking at this stuff, and I'm going, I don't know that I can do this. I really don't know that I can do this a whole lot longer the way I'm doing it, because after I was done and I was self-comparing myself to what I believed was superior artwork, that I don't think my art stood up. And I didn't tell anybody this. I didn't want to burden anybody with whatever I have going on. I kept doing my Saturday live stream, which I love, which I got to tell you, I get such a kick out of the Saturday live stream. I don't ever want to stop the Saturday live stream. It is It's a pain in the tuchus, but it's so much fun to do. It's such a challenge to paint. I'm painting here. I've got a computer here. I've got my brushes and my paints and everything, and I'm trying to look at a picture, and I'm trying to paint the picture, and I'm trying to look at the computer, and I'm trying to read here and read there, and the computer's just far enough away that I have to take off my reading glasses to read it, and then it's so small that I have to lean forward and squint to do it, and then I put my reading glasses back on to continue painting. Anyways, it's like a comedy of errors for me, but to me it's a lot of fun. So I don't want to stop that. I don't know where I was at. Anyways, I was doubting myself. I don't want to get too far off track. I was doubting myself. I was feeling really down about the art I was producing. And then a couple of things happened. And like I said, I didn't ask for anything to happen. I didn't solicit anything. I didn't tell anybody I felt badly about any of the artwork I was doing or my impression of what my artwork is in comparison to anybody else's artwork. I guess that's the better way to say it. And a few things happened. One is I was talking with a colleague of mine at work, and art is a fun thing I do. It doesn't pay the bills for me. I wish it did, but it doesn't, and that's fine. And I love talking to this guy because his views are radically different than mine, but he's very open-minded, which is great. So he's never like, oh well, you have to do things this way, and you have to do things this way, and blah 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 blah, and whatever. And so I'm talking to him about some of his paintings, and he was talking to me about mine. He said he watched my channel from time to time, which I was shocked. I didn't even know he was a subscriber. And he said, I like your stuff, but you have to put a background on everything. And it got me thinking, wait a minute. I don't care about the background. The background is fine. We can put a background or not put a background. But the first half of that sentence was, he liked my artwork. I don't know, wait. If he likes my artwork, why don't I like my artwork? And then, in a different conversation, I interact with hundreds of people a day from multiple departments where I work in different buildings, and I happen to be walking in a building, 2 buildings away from where my office is, and a woman said to me that she had seen the first frog video and went, I can't believe it. I love that frog. That's such a cute idea. It's such a cute frog. I don't even know what else she said. And I had been looking at that frog, and like I said, when I painted it, I went, this is great. I love painting this. This is cool. And I thought he came out really nice until, and it's that until part that I couldn't get over, that I was having a hard time with. And then a third person approached me, and online, a friend of mine from online, and said, this is great. I love what you're doing. I want to help you with what you're doing. How can I help support you? And I went, wait a minute. These are 3 different people from 3 different areas of my life that have said that they like what I do, what's going on with it. And I went, I took 2-3 days off where I didn't do anything. I just kind of went, is this where I want to be? Am I okay with this? A year ago, I was starting to really try to loosen up. Maybe more than a year ago, I'm trying to loosen up. I started watching some other videos. I started to do these paintings. They weren't what I wanted, but I had hoped to progress in that style and get somewhere. And at some point, I reverted to doing what I do, and people somehow have responded to it. And after, like I said, after 3 days of just not knowing what to do, I woke up this morning and I've made a promise to myself, and I hope, I don't know, I've been going almost for 20 minutes now. Wow, 20 minutes. I hope that anybody who's still watching makes a similar promise to themselves. So I made a promise to myself. I was like, you know what? I don't care if I paint loose. I don't care if I paint tight. I don't care what the subject matter is. It doesn't have to be landscape. It doesn't have to be animals. It doesn't have to be birds. It doesn't have to be seascapes. It can be whatever it wants to be. Whatever the painting is that I see, what I want to do is be comfortable painting the painting that's in my head when I see it, and accepting that that's what I do as the outcome. I think I'm always going to do some experimentation to make my paintings looser. I don't know that I'm going to do experimentation to make it tighter. I don't know that I could get a whole lot tighter. But I don't want to lose the fun of experimenting and trying new things. But I guess what I'm trying to say to myself and to you also is, at some point, you figure out what kind of an artist you really are. And you can look at other people's work and say, wow, that's really good. I like that. And you might try, you might experiment, but in the end, I hope that I do, I hope that all of you do, accept your work as your work and are happy with your work, regardless of what anybody else's work looked like. I think that was my big problem, was that I got hung up in a comparison, and maybe it's unfair, between what my work looked like and what other people's art looked like to me. And I looked at my artwork and went, that obviously can't be as good as somebody else's. And I looked at theirs and went, well, that has to be better than mine because they're not me. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want it to happen to me, and I don't want it to happen to anybody who happens to be viewing this. And if it does, let me just say, I don't want that to happen. I never expected that would happen to me. I think I painted for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, knowing my paintings weren't great, knowing I was improving and getting better, and knowing there's room for growth and blah blah blah, whatever. We all start at a certain point and we progress. And we're never going to be Picasso or Da Vinci or whatever, and it doesn't matter. We don't have to be that. I think the important thing that I'm discovering is that I have to make my best artwork. And what my best artwork is what I can do. And my artwork stands alone. It doesn't need to be compared to anybody else's. And I think that's what I have to come to grips with. And I think that's where I need to go next in my understanding of art, is that art isn't one thing, or art isn't one style. Art is something that moves somebody. Art is something that elicits an emotion or a response from somebody else. And people who like my art, including me, I should say, and now I look back at my frogs. This afternoon I got them out and I looked at them, and I don't. You know what? These are fun. These are nice paintings. I love these. I'm glad I painted them in the way that I did. But the art stands by itself. It doesn't need a comparison to something else. So I guess I've been going for almost 25 minutes now, much longer than I ever thought this was going to be. And what I'm trying to say is, if you get to the point where you're wanting to paint in a style, paint in that style, but make that style somehow your own. You don't have to be compared to the person who introduced you to that style, or you don't have to be compared to, well, really anybody else in that style. What your art has to be compared to is you. And if you're happy with your art, if you enjoy your art, it's going to show through in your art. And not only will it make you happy, it will make other people happy. And I think that's where I want to go, and I think that's what I've come up with after a number of days of soul searching and dragging my feet and dreading coming out to the studio. And that's where I'm at. I don't know how to, like I said, I don't know how to start this. I'm not exactly sure how to end this. I hope that as you're doing your art for you. And I hope other people appreciate your art because of your art and because of who you are. Because I'm realizing that the only person I need to please with my art is me. And if I please myself with my art, if I do the best I can do, and if I look at it and I think it's good, others will see that in my art and they'll appreciate it too. So that's it. That's my first video log from the studio. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to try to do some more. I've got some other thoughts that I want to talk about that don't necessarily have to do with painting, that have to do with being an artist or creating art in some way, shape, or form, or just being creative. And I'm going to talk to you about those. I don't know, like I said, today is the 15th of May. I don't know when I'm going to post this. It won't be too long. And maybe I'll try to do one of these a week or every other week, maybe once a month. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. But thank you for stopping by the studio to listen to me ramble on once again in my new video log, please stop by some other time when I have another topic that I need to get off my chest. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.